Shalom, people. I'm going to make this video a day. Basically, because of DeSean Jackson of the Philadelphia Eagles. Along my journey, I have been in his shoes. I know what he's going through in a spiritual meaning. I was a young boy, me and my brother both. As we were growing up, you know, my dad would always guide us and tell us stories about our ancestors and our grands, uncles, and all that. And this one conversation he started having with us, he says, I don't care what anybody tells you, and these were his words, the black man is the original Jew. That's what he said. Those words never really went anywhere, to be honest with you, until about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I was in the church. Heavy. My kids were all in private Christian schools. We were going to church 2-3 times a week. Bible study, dance ministry, the whole kit and caboodle. Giving money, not only on Sunday, but throughout the week for all these different, it was just a big money grab. I mean, we were heavy in the church. Even so, I still wear the scars, I don't know if you can see that, of church. Jesus and God and all this nonsense. Just completely brainwashed. Just completely brainwashed. And indoctrinated into religion. And I cannot express how this happened, but the closest thing that I can tell you, the feeling that I got when the Ruach, when the Spirit woke me up to the fact that who we were, in spite of what my dad telling me this 30 years ago, 40 years ago, well, 40 years, 41 or 2 years ago, that we were the true biblical Jews of the Bible. It wasn't until I was sitting in church one Sunday, which is crazy anyway, because we know that the Sabbath is not Sunday. I was sitting there and all of a sudden, it was like I was sitting in a den of wolves. I went from going to church several times a week, 3 kids in Christian private school, to I couldn't feel comfortable in that environment. It was the equivalent of, and this is no exaggeration, the equivalent of being in bed sleep while the house is burning down around you and you suddenly wake up. That's how my awakening was. Uh, that's how strong my awakening was when the Ruach put his finger on me. Even so, or because of the intensity of me waking up, I woke up so abruptly that I was really putting a divide, crying out to everyone that I came in contact. And in my house, there was a major rift, if you can imagine. We're all going to church, and then one of us says, wait a minute, this is wrong, this is not right. You can imagine the divide in the house. It was unbelievable. All praise to the Most High to keep the family together. But I didn't try to deter them from going to church. I just shared with them in nausea what the Ruach had shown me. And when I say to nausea, I mean just that, to nausea. But, I stopped going to church right away. We never had the conversation between myself and my family. And slowly but surely, the Ruach started to wake them up as well. Just like it was planned. No one had the conversation of, hey, we're done with this church, we're done with that church. That conversation never happened. We just all suddenly fell out of church. After falling out of that church, we thought that perhaps it was just that church. So we literally started church hopping. And no matter where we went, we couldn't escape that feeling of being in a den of wolves. It was, unless it's happened to you, you can't understand what I'm telling you, but it was just like we were sitting around in a den of wolves. I know some people will be offended by that, but that's what it was like, being in a den of wolves surrounded. And the Ruach just got us out of that situation. All praises to the Most High. We never had to say it. It just happened. We all got out of the church and we all started seeking the Father, the Father's name. That's how we got going. We started seeking the Father's name, and as we know, there is supernatural power in the name. That's so true. We started seeking the Father's name, and we started being guided towards Him out of the church. Even more so out of the church than ever before in the church, if that makes any sense. So this awakening happened to us at different paces, but it happened to all of us right around the same time. Hence, the making of this video right now, when I say I understand what DeSean Jackson is going through in his awakening, and he's trying to cry out that something is not right. It just doesn't add up. There's no way that what the world is saying is legitimate. When you use the Bible as a reference, you can write all these books you want. although there is information in there that points to me, my people being the biblical Hebrews of the Bible. Not using history or academia as a reference point, and certainly not using quotations of, I'll say, controversial figures to make your point, stopping yourself just short of going on record and saying, okay, I believe that my people are the biblical Hebrews, and then leaving room for interpretation of everyone who hears you stop short of saying, these are my beliefs. I believe that my people are the true biblical Hebrews. You leave yourself open to, well, you leave yourself open to exactly what DeSean Jackson has left himself open to. Oh, he's a racist. He's anti-Semitic. He's, he co-signs the controversial figures that, preach doom, gloom, hate, separatists. The list goes on. But again, I'll say to you that I've been in his shoes in my awakening, and I understand he's trying to get what he believes is the truth out so that the world knows what's going on. I'm not real sure about my lighting right now. It feels unbelievable out here. All right, so let me just move over a little bit. I'm gonna move over a little bit in the sunlight and see if that helps. So, not using academia, not using history, not using quotes from controversial figures. Let's just see if we can shed light on what I think or what I get from what DeSean Jackson is going through, what he's experiencing, that would make him feel as though he needs to get information out. And that information being subjected to all types of criticism, fairly or not, just or unjust, categorizing him as this person. I'm going to ask Yahuwah, Abba, the creator of all things, heaven and earth, to bless this message, to make my deliverance of his word a coherent one, and also to have the listener comprehend what I'm saying. I give all that to the Ruach. Hallelujah. All right. All right. So we're going to use my wife's Bible today. The names of God Bible, or the names of what I would say Yahuwah, the names of Yahuwah, because he has many names and many functions. So we're going to start with, and bear with me here, we're going to start with Revelations 2 and 9. Now, what I'm attempting to do is see if the Bible gives us any clues as to who the true Yahudim are, who the true Hebrews are, who the true Jews of biblical times are. I'm only using the Bible. Again, I'm not going to use academia. I'm not going to use history. I'm not going to use hurtful quotes. Okay? I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to simply use the good book. Let me see if I can get that. I love that Hebrew writing. Well, that's actually, it is Hebrew. Okay. So that's all I'm going to use as a reference. So let's get into it. And I don't have any of these. Let me see, I do have my pen here. So, and my glasses, I'll need my glasses. Revelation 2 and 9. So we're going to see if the Bible gives us any clues of who the real Yahudim are in this world today. Revelations 2 and 9. And inadvertently, it's also going to point to another group of people who are the true Gentiles of this world. So you're going to get, in layman term, you're going to get the true Jews, or it's going to lead you in the direction so that you can see or use some critical thinking to figure out who the true Jews are and who the true Gentiles are. So let's get into it. Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Hasatan. I know the blasphemy of those that say they are the Yahudim and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan, Hasatan. Okay, so at this point, we still don't know who those people are. We're just getting into this, but remember, jot that down, Revelations 2 and 19, because it's going to lead you like breadcrumbs to the truth, to the light. All right, so then we're going to go to, and remember, it's going to paint a picture of two people. One, the true Yahudim, and the true Gentile. Revelation 3 and 9. So let's get to Revelation 3 and 9. Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Hasatan, or Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, which say they are the Yahudim, which say they are the true biblical Hebrews, and are not, but do lie. That goes without saying. But they're lying. They say they are the true Jews and are not. They are lying. Behold, watch. I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have always loved thee. The thee, he's talking to, Yahuwah is talking to his chosen people. Yahuwah is talking to his chosen people, and he's letting them know that these liars that say that they are you, but do lie, I'm gonna straighten this out. I'm gonna bring them to their knees so that they come and worship at your feet. That's pretty powerful. But we're starting to get, or we should be starting to get, an understanding. It is so hot out here under the sun. It's beautiful though. We are starting to get the understanding that somebody is being disingenuous about who they are, where they come from, and their heritage. We're starting to get the understanding that something is not quite right. So now we're going to go to Psalms 83 and 3. We're going to go to Psalms 83 and 3. Let's go there right quick. Okay, so Psalms 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. I would say go ahead and read that down to 18, but just for time, just to put in context that there is a conspiracy to hide the identity of Father Yah's chosen people. This was written thousands of years ago, and he knew there would come a time when there would be a conspiracy to hide his chosen people. So what he did was he put a curse on them if they did not choose to honor the law, statutes, and commandments, the covenant, that would be a sign and a wonder to the nations where he displaced his chosen people, so that even though they were hidden, there would be a sign and a wonder on them, so that the people in the know would know, hey, wait a minute, that's his chosen. We're getting all these little clues. It still takes some critical thinking at this point. So keep an open mind so that you can, be acceptable of the findings at the end of this message. So let's go back into the good book. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. Let's see if we can find that right quick. Okay, let's start at Deuteronomy 28 and 36. And Yahuwah shall bring thee and thy king. All right, let me start again. So the chosen people, Father Yah's chosen people, Father Yahuwah's chosen people actually had a choice, free will, to honor the covenant, and receive the blessings of Father Yahuwah, or not honor the covenant and receive the curses. The curses of Father Yahuwah, the wrath, the judgment. Those curses would be on the chosen people as a sign and a wonder, a sign. When you're selling fruit, you say, Tomatoes for sale. When you're selling horses, you say horses for sale. You put a sign on them. You put a sign on your car. You ride around with a sign on your car displaying the fact that, you know, whatever your intentions are. So, Father Abba, Yahuwah, put a sign on his people so that if there was any confusion, the curses would be on his people as a sign to let the whole world know who they were, even though it was not their name and heritage had been stripped away from them as a punishment. Let's see what the book says. See what the book says now. Deuteronomy 28 and 36. Yahuwah shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. So let's examine that for 1 second. When you look at the so-called black man, and we're going to get into that, the so-called African American. When you look at his religious beliefs, he's the only person that doesn't have his heritage intact and his beliefs intact. He's been thrusted into what? Other religions. And which kind of religions has he been thrusted into? Those of wood and stone. What do you mean? What's a wood and stone religion? So we know that Christianity, Catholicism, whatever isms, they all use the crucifix, the wooden crucifix, as their symbol. They all use the wooden cross. So when you read Deuteronomy 28 and 36, it's telling you that his people would be scattered about, and from the greatest to the smallest, from the biggest to the littlest, your king, that means everybody is going to get it. I'm going to put you into a place where you will worship the wooden cross and the stone. Well, where's the stone come in at? What's that got to do with anything? Being a student of religions, which I was in myself, the religion of Christianity, right? Which which did not, I'm not even going to get into that. In the religion of Christianity, where we follow the wooden cross. The question is, well, what does the stone have to do with it? Well, the stone, we also know that a great majority of so-called African American, Negro, black people also have been thrust into Islam. Well, what does that have to do with stone? Well, we know that their symbol is the Kabbalah stone, the vagina stone, right? We know that. So when you look at the religious beliefs today, you find that my people have been made to worship Christianity, the wooden cross, and Islam, the stone, the Kabbal stone, the vagina stone. That's a whole nother conversation right there, I gotta tell you. So this prophecy and this promise of curse fits one people. It fits one people. It has actually happened. We know this through the transatlantic slave trade, that we were someplace else with some other heritage, with some other beliefs, and we got stolen and brought here and sold as slaves, and now we were pushed into these other religions. We know this all across the world, which when my people choose these religions, I guess it's foretold. It's foretold thousands of years ago that this would happen. Christianity, Islam. I was one of them. But as I said, the Ruach woke me up. Hallelujah. And literally snatched me out of that den of wolves. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All praises to Father Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Okay, so I don't want to get into the woods too deep. As you know, I can get into the weeds. All right. So now, remember now, we're following breadcrumbs. We're following breadcrumbs. So let me look at this. Okay, so let me do this. We did Deuteronomy 28 and 36. Let me read Deuteronomy 28 and 37. All right. Okay, I'm going to read it all together. 36. I'll start at 36 again. And Yahuwah shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thy nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb. The bugs are terrible out here. A proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether Yahuwah shall send thee. Now, I gotta tell you, that is some pretty powerful stuff. Now, you have to remember that this was prophesied thousands of years ago. The fact that people do not think that this Bible is real, it has supernatural power along with natural power. It is a natural guide. It is a family history book. It also wields supernatural power that people don't really understand. How in the world could this have been prophesied thousands of years ago, and you see that it's taking place right here and now? True. Byword. What's a byword? What is that? So we know that even though we have been nicknamed a people, there are other bywords, right? We know that there are other bywords attached to us. I'm only going to, for the sake of time, use one. And we know that the byword attached to my people. The main one is the N word. So the main word, the main byword, and astonishment and proverb, all those things you see going on with us today, and the main byword attached to us, even though we have been given a I had the word but I lost it. Even though we have been given a false identity, that's not the word. It was a really good word. A false identity. We still see that we have these bywords attached to us. This is right out of the Bible. This is Bible prophecy. Wake up, people. This Bible is no joke, and it does wield supernatural power. No way on earth that anyone could have forecasted that this would happen thousands of years ago and have it come true if there wasn't such a thing as supernatural power. Hot. I'm going to try and get this down. All right, so we're still leaving those breadcrumbs. So remember now, we're finding out there are two groups of people that this is basically going on about. One's going to be the Yahudim, or the true biblical Hebrew, and one's going to be someone else, right? We don't know who that is, but we know that one of them is going to be the true biblical Hebrew, and one's not. Breadcrumbs. So now we're going to go to, let's go to Genesis 10 and 5. Let's go to Genesis 10 and let's see where we're going to start at. Genesis. Okay, so let me do the little sidebar right quick so I don't have to read all of this. All right, the descendants of Noah. We know after the iniquities of the world that Father Yah says, I'm not dealing with this. I'm just getting rid of everybody. Except Noah, his 3 sons, and their wives. The clean and unclean animals that we have on earth today. The genealogy of our human race starts with Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. You have to come from one of those seeds, right? You have to come from one of Noah's sons if you are living, breathing, and have an ancestry today, which is everybody. Of his 3 sons, one was Japheth. One was Ham, and one was Shem. The controversy here is that everyone wants to be from the bloodline Shem because he was the one where his descendants, Father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, come from. They come from his loins. And that's who Father Yah passed the blessings to. That's who he gave the blessing to. Father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. right up to the blessing and the curse. He gave them both to him, the covenant. So, in order to receive everything, you have to be from the line of Shem. You have to be from Noah's son Shem. So that's why you see everyone claiming to be descendants of Noah's son Shem. We're the chosen people. No, we're the chosen people. No, we're the chosen people. That's because that blessing is going to be bestowed on their seed. It's going to be a glorious thing. So, in this section, we're going to find out what the Bible actually says about who's who. If you're from the line of Shem, you are the true biblical Hebrew. If you are from the line of Shem, you have the covenant with the Father Yahuwah. If you're not from the line of Shem, then you are not a Jew. You are not a Hebrew. You are not the Yahudim. The blessing was not given to you and your seed. But you are in fact the other nations, the Gentiles, the heathen. That is your heritage, that is your bloodline. You can in fact receive the gift due to the transgressions of the Hebrews, but it wasn't originally granted to you. All praise to the Most High for extending that blessing to everyone. All praise to the Most High. Hallelujah. Life is precious, beautiful. Life is unbelievable. Hallelujah. But let's just see who the people that did not get the blessings and are not in the covenant. We'll start with Noah's. We're just going to start with, I'm going to read a little bit of this, and this video is going to be really long as is. All right, Noah's descendants. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japhet. And unto them were sons born after the flood. Now I'm only going to do, you can feel free to read this, and it behooves you to read it. But I'm only going to read Japhet's descendants because this is going to be a really long video. The sons of Japhet: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tabal, Meshech, and Tyrus. Those were the sons of Japhet. Okay, now their sons have sons. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. That's as far as I'm going to go right now. Ashkenaz. A-S-H-K-E-N-A-Z, and sometimes there's an I on it. What I want you to do is Google Ashkenazi people or Ashkenaz people. When you Google Ashkenaz people, I want you to go to the images. Look on images, and there's going to be a group of people that come up when you push on images. The people that come up are going to be from the descendant of Japhet, not Shem. They're not going to be Shemites. They're going to be Japhanites or Japhanites. That's going to be very important when you're following breadcrumbs to see who the chosen people are. We still don't know at this point. We still do not know at this point. But as we read, we will figure it out with some critical thinking and the black and white word. Gomer's son, Ashkenaz, when you Google who those folks are, it's going to clearly show you a picture of the Ashkenazi people, the Japhanites. Now let's see if we can find out more about the Japhanites or Japhanites or Japhets. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphtide, Tugaram, and the son of Javan, Ishlai, and Chorish, Kittim, Dudanim. Very important is what I'm getting ready to read. Genesis 10 and 5 is very important. You have to pay attention to this because you'll miss it. By these were the isles of the Gentiles. The Gentiles. The Gentiles. Divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. So when you find out who the Ashkenazi people are, and you find out and you know from reading this that they're Japhanites, not Shemites, and then it tells you that they are the Gentiles, you know that you cannot be Gentile and Jew. You have to be one or the other. So either you're a Jew or you're a Gentile. This Bible is telling you that Japhet, Ashkenaz, and all of his descendants are the Gentiles. It's right here in black and white. So you Google that name, look for the images, and it's going to give you a clear picture of who the Gentiles of this world are. I'm not going to go into the Hamites and the Shemites because we know just basically by reading some of the curses which people on earth fit those curses as a sign hung around their neck. I have a message for Eagles player DeSean Jackson. And it is in the book of Revelation. I got to go back to Revelation, and it's going to be Revelation 2 and 10. Revelation 2 and 10. Let's see if we can get that. See if we can get that right quick. This message is for Eagles player DeSean Jackson. Like I said, I've been in his shoes myself. And this is something that I want the young brother to hold on to. And anyone else that is experiencing what he himself and I have experienced, and many others. Okay, Revelations 2 and 10. Chickens are raising sand today. Okay, Revelation 2 and 10. This is directly for you DeSean Jackson. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. But be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Hang in there. Hang in there and be faithful, and don't let anyone discourage you from putting the truth out, whatever that may be. Hang in there and be faithful, and in the end, this word does not come back void. You will receive a crown of life. Hallelujah. I thank you for tuning into this, and hey, this was a long one, but the Most High put it on my ruach to put it out there, and that's what I've done. I've done it to the best of my ability. All praises to the Most High. If you have any questions in the comments, let's get a forum going. I mean not to hurt anyone, but the truth is the truth. If I'm persecuted for delivering Father Yah's word, I'm built for it. I welcome it. Hallelujah. Shalom.